in my big sweatshirt. I did.
Hi, everyone. We are here today for an interview. It is our fourth interview in this series of Moms versus COVID-19. And we are lucky enough today to have Erin Bergeron joining us. So thank you for joining us, Erin.
Thank you for having me.
And if you guys are interested in viewing it, you can look on my Facebook page, which is at Beacon Parent Coaching, or on my website, which is www.beaconparentcoaching.com under videos and interviews. They'll also be posted for people who don't have Facebook. So today we're here with Erin, and Erin has 3 beautiful babies.
Yes.
And she is a full-time teacher. So Erin, why don't we start off by you just kind of telling everyone a little bit more about you and your family and what your life is like.
Well, I live here in Newburyport, Massachusetts with my 3 kids. They're 10, 8, and 1, and my husband. And I teach in Salem, New Hampshire, and I've been there for 15 years. And I absolutely love teaching. I love working with kids. And we kind of enjoy doing things by the ocean. We love biking and hiking in the woods, and we love our little community here. So that's about it.
Great, thank you. And so before all of this started, before COVID-19 was kind of controlling what we did and who we saw and where we went, what was your life like normally in terms of like a daily life, activities, routines, schedules, things that you guys did for fun?
Well, I thrive on routine, and it always takes me a while to get into the school routine, but once we do, we kind of, October comes and we hit the ground running.
Sure.
My boys are super athletic. They both play a sport a season, if not 2, and we're a big hockey family. So if you know hockey starts in August and doesn't end until March, and then you throw in a fall sport and maybe like a winter sport like skiing, and then you have lacrosse in the spring. So my boys are constantly busy and at practices, but they absolutely love it. So typically a day would look like, I usually get up super early. I get in a workout, a run, go to the gym. Just that's kind of my time around 4:35, and then we're early risers around 6:30. The boys get up, and Harper, I should say, my 1-year-old. We get up. I get them ready, situated, breakfast, off to school. They all get dropped off. I have this amazing in-home daycare where Harper goes, and then my boys also catch the bus there and get off there. So I drop everybody off there at 7:30, and then I head off to work, and then I get out in the afternoon and I pick everybody up in the same place, and we do homework, usually early dinner, and then we have sports practices, playing outside, and all that stuff. And then it's usually Harper's in bed the earliest around 7, the boys, depending on practice schedules, but around 8 o'clock, and then we kind of start all over again. And our weekends are kind of packed with activities, and we've become really good friends with a lot of our sports families and a lot of our hockey families and lacrosse families. So we're definitely a social family, and we love getting together with people. So the COVID-19 has definitely halted a lot of that. And what we've done around here. So
yeah, that kind of leads into my next question, is just how extreme your life has changed now that there is COVID-19 and we have to social distance and school is closed and activities are canceled, and how is that impacting you guys?
Well, I've realized really quickly that I can teach other people's kids, but not my own children. So homeschooling's definitely been a huge shift. We went from 5 or 6 days a week at a hockey rink, through games and practice and stick time and just like fooling around with friends, and going to the parks and whatnot around here, to just the 5 of us being together all the time. And I have really struggled because the district I work in is their remote learning. Their whole their whole outlook is great, and it's giving a lot to the students, but it's a lot on the teachers, and we're expected to do a lot. And I can be a working mom. I can go off to work and have my work life, and then I can come home and have my home life. But when the 2 of them have collided, it's been extremely, extremely stressful. And my husband travels a lot for work, so his travel has halted. So luckily he's around, and his office is a work from home. And he's been here, but we're both working and
Yeah.
homeschooling 2 kids. We have a 1-year-old in the mix that's into everything and starting to
Yeah.
walk, and
Yeah.
it's definitely challenging right now. And the fact that we can go nowhere and get no reprieve really, unless we go outside, which is what we do every day, is we take walks or go for a bike ride with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a huge shift.
Yeah. No, and I am with you there in terms of, having the 3 kids and having a 3-year-old who's not homeschooling. And so she doesn't get if the boys are on a Zoom call with their teacher and she's like, walking in the background and screaming and yelling and being silly. It's kind of, the stress level can rise really quickly, right?
Oh,
if
absolutely.
we're trying to do something and it's not going, like she's not napping when she's supposed to, and he's supposed to be on a Zoom call, and this one didn't do his eye. So it's hard to be at home, try to be working your job from home, have your kids at home. So you're supposed to be watching your kids, helping them with their homeschool, doing your job, running your classrooms, checking with your teachers, running the house too, right?
Oh my God, it's like a heart
everything
keeping off every second of the day too.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I'll be home, everything will be clean. No. It's like every second is taken, right? And so
every minute. I don't think I've been alone. I mean, even in the shower, my 1-year-old's usually, hanging out in the bathroom with me. I mean, I have done like nothing alone for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So it's been definitely challenging. I mean, every time I try to walk away and hide, somebody finds me.
Yes. Yep. They can always find you. That's why I say they can smell you, right?
Yeah,
they just know where you are.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No. And so it's a super stressful time, right? Especially for families who are trying to work from home, and then you're trying to help your kids with their schooling, and there's no one there to help with the kids because no one else can come in and out of your house, right?
Yeah.
So you're super limited.
Yeah, and I mean, it's great they're set up on Google Classroom, but I still need to go over. I have a 2nd grader and a 4th grader, and they'll say I'm done, but they don't read the whole assignment, so I'm like a ping pong ball bouncing back and forth. And my 2nd grader, just like my own 2nd grade classroom and my own students, they need attention, and they need that, they crave that one-on-one, and I can't always give it to them, and I feel torn.
Right. And then you have the mom guilt on top of
it's never gonna go away.
Yeah.
Making the wrinkles in my face.
Yeah, I think we're all gonna age rather quickly throughout this time. But what right now would you say are like your biggest worries and your biggest stress?
I'm really afraid that I'm not giving my kids the attention they need right now. And it's not even the academic piece, it's the emotional piece.
Yeah.
Because you have to sympathize with them, and they have these emotions and they're not sure how to express them, and what might come out as them melting down about an assignment is really like them being worried about what's going on and why they can't leave home. And my 4th grader has definitely gone through ebbs and flows of like missing his friends, and like we'll try to FaceTime, but it's not the same, and he's actually more sad after he gets off than he was before. So I think like not being there emotionally for them enough, and then just my anxiety coming through as anger sometimes, and resentment with my husband, who might be down in his office while I'm trying to work and manage the 3 kids. I feel bad. So I feel like I'm this person that I'm like, this isn't summer mom right now, this is mom, and I think it's hard for the kids to see that. So my big struggle is that not being there emotionally for them. And then it's such a, like, I've always wanted to be an at-home mom. Like, I love my kids, I love spending time with them, and I love being with my 1-year-old. Like, she's the only one in the house that's loving COVID-19, let me tell you. Everybody's around, she's here, she doesn't have to go anywhere, and I'm just afraid I'm missing moments with her that I should take advantage of because I'm so stressed out.
Yeah. And I think a lot of moms are feeling that same exact way. And it's, for moms who are home with them during the summer, they're used to like, oh, mom's here, it's summer mode. Like, let's go outside, let's go play here, let's do this. And it's like, well, nobody, because I have a Zoom call, or I have an email, or I have a class, or I have, to post something or record this, or we have to do your work. And so it's trying to get them to understand, like, we're still in school mode, even though we're home. Even though I'm home, and it's just hard for their little brains to kind of really wrap around and understand what's going on right now.
Oh, absolutely. And then the academic piece worries me. I'm so afraid they're going to regress or I'm not doing enough with them. And, you know, I mean, the teachers are doing a great job posting things, but I'm like, how much are you really getting out of this?
Yeah.
Like, especially like teaching isn't doing things independently. It's being taught new things by somebody that knows them.
Yeah.
So I feel I'm constantly anxious and guilty and everything.
Yeah. Well, it just feels so, I feel like it's so unfair for teachers to be expected to kind of do what you do every day because you don't have your environment, you don't have your tools, you don't have that connection, you know, that's so key with the relationships. And it's a scaffold, right? Like you might do a little lesson, but then you're there to like scaffold them into the independent work.
Exactly.
And now you're doing a lesson online and they're watching it and they're doing it. But then when they get stuck, it's like, hopefully mom and dad can help them work through it. But sometimes I can't.
Again, you have mom and dad that might be working just like me. So then
Right.
I'm like, you're going to be stuck for the next half an hour. Move on to something and we'll go back to it. Like,
Right.
I feel bad, but it's all.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and
like
that's when you might see a lot of behaviors, right? When that happens, when they're getting frustrated and you can't help them in that moment, and then they escalate because they're stressed and they're overwhelmed, and then they might start getting upset and crying or yelling, and then no one can work because you have this, you know, situation that you have to calm down before anyone can make a call. So I'm sure a lot of parents are seeing some behaviors happening from time to time when the kiddos are feeling, you know, at their wit's end.
Yeah. Because they're not independent. They're kids. Like they need to be parented. They need to be taught. And they're expected to be these mature people right now, these little mature little adults that can't.
Right.
It's not fair to ask them to do that.
Yeah. No, and that's why there have been times when I've just said, you know what, everyone's stopping, pause what we're doing. We're going outside. You know, we just need to go for a walk or go ride our scooters or go play basketball or just like kind of take a break and then come back to it because the energy was so off that I knew nothing was going to get done.
Well, that's what we do. Like, especially with my 8-year-old, he's got so much energy. So like today where it's not raining and it's not too bad outside, I'm like, go for a run, we'll come back and do something else. Go for a bike ride, come back, we'll do something else. So building in those breaks are key because they need those. And they're not sitting in school from 8 to 3 reading a textbook or on the computer, and we shouldn't expect them to be. So,
no, they need those breaks, whether it's like
finding that balance too.
Going to specials, walking to lunch, having recess, you know, all of those things that give them those mental breaks throughout the day are really important. Yeah. So what are you doing, Erin, to kind of help you try to manage all of this extra stress and all of the extra expectations that you have between juggling the different hats that you're wearing right now? Like, how are you trying to manage that so that, you know, you are taking care of yourself and making sure that you're in a space where you can be, you know, taking care of everyone else?
I am my own worst enemy because I don't do a lot for me. But I have been, once my daughter gets up around 5:30 and I leave around 6:30. I usually run every morning. So that's like my one outlet. So I go out, despite the weather, it was kind of snowing a little bit this morning. I go out, I run, and that kind of puts me in a better place mentally for the day. And then I just feel like I can get through the day. And I've really just had to teach, like, this has been a teachable time for me too, because there's just some things I have to let go. Like,
yes,
you know what? There's going to be crumbs all over the floor. And yes, the boys are going to walk through the house with their shoes on and get mud everywhere. And I've kind of just learned I have to let these things go.
Yeah.
And then just having time at night. Like, the boys still go to bed by 8 o'clock. Harper's in bed by 7. And, you know, before I pass out, like having that time to just sit with my husband and like watch a show or talk or have a glass of wine, just a little bit of time to ourselves. So that bedtime has been key for us because we need that time just as much as they need.
Yeah. And I think that's why having like that structured bedtime is so key, because if parents are struggling with that and the kiddos are taking hours and they're not going to bed till 9 or 10 o'clock at night, and then you're, like you said, I'm passing out, even if I'm trying to watch a movie or show, often I'm waking up, falling asleep halfway through it. So I think having that bedtime routine and getting to bed at a good time is not even, it's good for the kids, yes, but it's also great for the parents when they have time to relax and decompress and just kind of have time for you where you can like refill your energy and, you know, your bucket so that you're not starting into the next day already feeling exhausted and fatigued.
I mean, I have to say that since this all started, I just can't get rid of my anxiety. I'm just constantly anxious. Just about everything, about work, the kids, the world, like what we're dealing with. Like it's hard to wrap your head around what you can't see right in front of you. And I think that's what's been the hardest thing is, I don't work in a hospital. I don't see all these sick people, but it's there. Like we wouldn't be doing and putting up all these barriers if it wasn't. So it's hard. It's just that anxiety that, I just can't get rid of.
No, and I think most people are feeling anxious. I think we talked about this in our interview yesterday with Sarah, that, it's so important for people to kind of tap into that and to not just try to brush it off and pretend it's not happening, because then it's just going to build up and you're going to explode. And so acknowledging it and then trying to find time to do things that help you with that anxiety and just talking about it are good things for moms to do, like call up your friend or have a Zoom call with lots of girls with a glass of wine and just kind of talk it through. At least, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one. And, for me, I just keep trying to think to the summertime, and I just keep telling myself, okay, we get to the summer, hopefully this is better and we can have an amazingly fun summer. We can go to the beach and see our friends and have cookouts, and
that's what I keep thinking, and that's what I keep saying to my boys. I'm like, we do this now, we get camp, we get the beach, we get our vacation this summer, and this too pass. And I want to love this time as much as I can because I'm with my kids all the time.
Yeah.
And I go through ebbs and flows of just like telling myself to love it and know that this is like not gonna ever happen again. Hopefully, cross your fingers. But at the same time, you're in the moment of just complete chaos around you, and it's hard to remove yourself.
Yeah, well, you're physically with your kids, but you're not necessarily able to be like mentally and emotionally with them because you're pulled in so many directions. And then you feel guilty. You feel guilty if you don't post your video for your class on time, or you feel guilty if you didn't get on that call, or if you didn't check the email. And, so there's, no matter where you are, you're thinking I should be doing something else, and that's hard.
And then you get the emails from parents who are struggling at home and they're asking for advice. I want to be like, I'm struggling too. Like, try your best. Like, that's all we're trying to do at this point.
Yeah, and that's been our advice to parents, is just you do the best that you can, and you don't allow whatever you're going through to add more stress to your life. There's already enough stress. Like, we're all going through this trauma of trying to process what's going on in the world, and it's scary thinking like, are we going to get it? Are we going to be okay? And we don't know. Like, there's no, even though we're making the choice to stay home, right? Jay, my husband, still goes to Market Basket once a week to get food. So there's possible contamination and exposure every time he goes. And so it's like every time he goes, you just kind of hope he didn't get contaminated. He does not bring it home to us, or not him having it himself. So how could you not have a little bit of anxiety when you're worrying about something, so significantly scary? So I think if playing outside or saying, we're not doing that exercise today, and it's okay, right? Like, no one's going to get mad. If one of my parents that I work with emails me and said, we had a hard day, we just needed to take a mental health day, I'm not mad. Like, we're not, parents shouldn't have to feel so stressed out that academics are like the most important thing right now, right?
And that you have to do something every day, or it's okay. Like, we need to all be like kinder to ourselves right now, because this is uncharted waters. Yeah.
And I think it's important for parents to know to be kinder to teachers, right? If they don't know. Well, because a lot of people don't know. They're not sure, that they don't see what you're going through at home, that you have 3 young kids. And I know the boys have a teacher with 2 very young kids. So you know what, if the email didn't get sent, or the posting wasn't up on time, or there was a typo or mistake, or like, cut them some slack, right?
Please cut us a little slack. I think parents forget that. Like, I know it's hard. Like, I get it. Like, you didn't want to homeschool your kid. You sent them to public school for a reason.
Right.
But I sent my kids to school for a public reason too, but we're all home. So cut us a little slack, because you don't even know what's going on behind the scenes of us having to do our jobs as well.
Yeah. And it was like, a snap of your
Yep.
fingers and this happened, right? There was no preparing, there was no training, there was no, like, it was in New Hampshire went crazy, like they're ahead of everybody, right?
It was 2 days of training and then you're up and running like 1 day later. And
Yeah.
these are our expectations. So teach yourself quick, gather all your materials and go do it.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly,
and I love it for the kids. I do honestly love it for my students. I'm so glad we didn't have like a huge lapse in time, because I think the fact that we had like a 3-day kind of hiatus and then boom, we went right into it. I think it's good. And I do love all the stuff my district is doing for the students. It's just a lot on our plates as well.
Yeah, it is. And I think you're all working so hard. And I tell, every teacher that I know from the boys' school, just how amazed it is at what you're doing. And I don't know how you're doing it. And I ask the boys' teacher all the time if she sleeps at night, because it doesn't make sense how it could all get done. It's impressive. And it just kind of goes to show like how amazing teachers are. And, that I love seeing all the attention it's getting on Facebook and social media, that people are finally recognizing like how hard teachers work and how much work it is every day to do this. And you're not just teaching like 2 or 3 kids like we are at home. You have like 23, 24, 25 kids that you're doing this to.
And I have a lot of Zoomer parents in the background are like, we love you more than we did before. Like we never knew. And like I've had parents say to me, they're like, oh wow, I now know what kind of attention issues we were talking about with my kid, or how do you get him to transition from one thing to the next? I can't even get him to do that. And I'm like, oh, you're seeing that now. You're wondering what I was talking about, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I mean,
so
in that respect, it's kind of refreshing to have parents kind of solidify what you've already said to them.
Yes. Yeah. And just it's growing the respect of the work that you're doing and how quickly you guys were able to adapt from teaching in the classroom to doing this at home. So, it's just amazing. And I've had so many people are just applauding teachers all over and amazed. And I think for kids too, what's been nice is that my boys miss school. And so, they're getting to the age where it was like, oh, I have to go to school today. And now they're like, I want to go to school today. So it's like, yeah, you're not taking it for granted anymore that, you don't get to see your teachers. You don't get to have that community. You don't get to have your friends in your recess and that normal. So I think it will be a lesson of appreciation and gratitude for sure when they do get to go back.
Right. Absolutely agree.
Yeah. So there's been so much coverage and talk about social distancing and self-isolation and all those types of things. And there still seems to be some controversy with some people thinking they don't need to social distance, that, if they get it, they'll be fine. It's just like a cold or the flu. And they're not, following the recommendations of social distancing and not staying in their house, like meaning their family are the only ones they're interacting with. So what are your thoughts on that?
If the states and the government are telling us to do it, there's a reason for it. I have to say, one of my best friends is a PA, and she works at Brigham and Women's down in Boston, and her and I've had multiple conversations about this whole thing. And she's not a doom and gloom person. She's just like one of the most positive people ever. And she's like, this is not good. She's like, we need to do whatever they're telling us to do. And I mean, even without her saying that, like, if kids aren't going to go to school, then we're going to stay home. Like, a short time. I'd rather stay home now and be okay later when it's warmer and we can go to the beaches and have vacations. I mean, my kids, other than a walk or a bike ride, haven't left our house. Like, in a few drives, like, we'll drive up to the beach and look at the beach, but like we don't get out, like in grocery store. I just feel like it's important for us to listen and just obey what they're saying, so that this can all eventually peak and then go down.
Right.
So we haven't seen our family. Like, we FaceTime. My in-laws live a mile away. They come to the window and knock on the window and wave to the kids. I mean, we've seen them like on a bike ride. They'll stand in their yard and we'll stop and wave and talk for a few minutes, with 10 feet between us. So we've just kind of been doing what they've been telling us to do, and hoping for the best.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's so important. We were missing our, my parents, I call them Yaya and Papa. And so today, earlier, we took a drive to Bradford and just parked outside their house, and we had packed lunches. And so we just rolled the windows down, and my parents sat up on their front porch. Aww. And we just had like lunch together.
Yeah.
But, you know, and I think it was so nice. It was so nice for my kids to just like see them in real life, not over a screen finally. Yeah. But it's just, I think, you know, there are creative ways that you can try to fill that void a little bit, but stay safe for everybody.
We have a birthday parade tomorrow for one of my boys' friends. Like,
that's awesome.
Like a car parade. So, like you've seen on the news and stuff, but
yeah,
we're keeping tried and true to the, you know, social distancing and hoping that all of this goes away eventually.
Right. And if we do it, then it's hopefully a way sooner than later.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so for the last conversation piece, I really want to end on something positive and talk about hope, right? Because that's kind of what gets me through this, is thinking about hoping for all the things we're going to get to do and all the positives that maybe will come out of this. And so when this is over and said and done, what's one thing that you hope will be different or changed?
I think for my family, I think we've learned to, my boys especially, have learned to appreciate each other a lot more, especially being together all the time. And I hope that they continue to appreciate each other and my husband and I, and how much we do, and they see how hard we work for them. And you know, we've been forced to be together too, and you know, having dinner together every night, doing our walks together. Like, they're starting to, you know, they know that they're each other's playmates now for the next 4 weeks. So I just hope that appreciation for our family continues after this, and that they still want to hang out with us after it. And you know, obviously it's great. I want them to have friends. I want them to be social, like, but I also like want them to love being with us too.
Right.
And I hope that the world gets to be a better place for my kids. Like, it's not even me that I worry about, it's the future for my own and like for my little one that's 1. Like, God, I hope that this just goes away and or gets better, or they find some kind of vaccine so that, you know, this isn't the way we have to live our lives.
Right.
In the future. So,
yeah.
So, and I hope, you know, I hope we make it out of this alive.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not an alcoholic or 50 pounds heavier. No, just kidding. The thought there.
No, it's hard to intentionally choose healthy coping strategies when you're under stress and you're limited. You know, like before it would be like a get together with your friends or a girls' night out, and now you're just, you know, you're Zooming your girls' nights out. So you're trying to find a way to do it safely, but it's harder.
My girlfriends and I joke because we're like, we're either going to be divorced or one child last after this. We're not really sure which one. No, we'll all make it through. And I have such a good, like 4 girlfriends that I'm so close to. I run with one of them. I talk to them. So, like, they have been my rocks.
Yeah.
Through all of this and the anxiety I feel. And I have the most amazing husband. So he's super supportive. And you know, after I've been extremely passive aggressive and, you know, taken out some of my anger on him about trying to balance everything, he's kind of got the message. So we've kind of found some good this week.
Yeah, I think that's key. That's kind of what Jay and I had to figure out of, okay, you have a meeting and then I have a meeting and we'll have to shift off, and you know, so it's just trying to work together, and, you know, we both have work to do. So if we can try to schedule it opposite, so someone's available for the kids, but, you know, as much as we can, we just trying to work together versus getting mad at each other and not working together. It only adds more stress. But, you know, I think the message is so important that if someone is feeling anxious or overwhelmed, that, you know, they're not alone, and they can reach out to someone, a friend, a family member, and let them know how you're feeling and talk about it, so that you don't, you know, just feel like this is, you know, not doable. Because if you know, reach out to someone and find some strategies and things like that, I think you can find ways to get through this. And no, I just keep saying it's short term, right? Like I use that hopeful thinking, and I just keep imagining being on the beach and playing with my kids, and, you know, that's something I have to hold on to for now.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to everyone and share your story. I'm sure there are so many moms out there who are feeling like you are and going through similar things, and it's nice to know that they're not alone.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm honored that you were able to interview me and that you called me.
Yes, of course.
I hope I helped
So,
out. So
have a wonderful day.
thank you so much.
We'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.